With training camp coming up July 25th, we need to take a look at that roster and who's on the bubble as far as making the 53-man team for the Buffalo Bills. Welcome to Leafs Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to another edition where we talk about the Buffalo Bills bubble, right? Training camp starting July 25th. We have to have a 53-man roster ready by August 31st. We need to know who is going to be on that 53-man roster. Before we do that, however, I want to remind everyone, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, guys, hit that subscribe button for continuing breaking Buffalo Bills news. We'll keep you up to date on all things Buffalo Bills. Not only do we keep you up to date on the Buffalo Bills, but we try to keep you up to date on the Sabres, the Bisons, all Buffalo sports. So hit that subscribe button, like this video, follow me on Twitter. And if you do all that, you will be entered in a contest to win this Andre Reed signed mini helmet. Just go to www.bewarethestampede.com, currently partnering with Believers Talk, and log your entries there for your chance to win this autographed helmet. So again, like this video, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Go to our Twitter, follow both myself, follow Beware the Stampede, then go over to bewarethestampede.com, log your entries. It's easy to do, and you have a chance to win a pretty cool item there. So again, thank you for your support throughout the year. Plus, I've been doing this, and I really appreciate it. So we want to show our appreciation by giving away this helmet. But in this episode, we are going to talk about who is on that 53-man bubble. If you keep up to date with your Buffalo Bills news, if you go to Bills Wire, you see that they just recently did an article naming 11 guys that they say are on the Buffalo Bills roster bubble as far as who's going to make the 53-man roster. I agree with some of those names on that list. I don't agree with all of those names. I'm going to go down through that list and name some other names on my list that I think are on that roster bubble that we have to watch out for. Now, again, I wouldn't be surprised to see more than the guys cut. I think we might have 51 guys on our active roster as of August 31st, but then you'll see who else gets cut by teams. There are going to be some surprises. There always are, and then we might add some depth and some positions there as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more guys cut than just the minimum required to get to our 53-man roster, and then I see us picking up some guys on the flip side that were cut by other teams. So we'll see what happens, but let's talk about that bubble. And again, in the comment section below, let me know who you think's on the roster bubble, who you think needs to improve in training camp or show off in training camp, show off in preseason, just to be able to make this squad. Now, the first person on the list on Bills Wire was Russell Bodine. I disagree with this name. I think Russell Bodine is definitely not going to make the roster. I think he would really have to impress and step up in both training camp and preseason to have a spot on this roster. You're talking about a guy who played 10 games for the Buffalo Bills last year at center, and when he took over at center, now the Pro Football Focus did rank him as the 19th best center in the NFL. But now you look at Mitch Morse, the signing of Mitch Morse, the signing of Spencer Long, who can play at the center position. I don't see a need to keep 3 centers on this team. So when you see that, and he can play other positions on the offensive line. I'm not saying he can't. But when you see that, it makes it hard to say that he is going to be on this team when you have guys who have the skill sets that he does, if not even a little bit better, who play the position that he does, and also have the same versatility. So I see it's going to be very hard for Russell Bodine to make this team. Someone that I would look at, who's also on the list on BillsWire.com, LeAdrian Waddle. I personally, in my breakdown, did not have LeAdrian Waddle making this team, just because you have Ty Nsekhe and you have our draft pick, of course, as well, and Cody Ford. So those are 2 guys who could play that right tackle position. Now, that's the kind of position that someone like LeAdrian Waddle is going for. And I know a lot of Bills fans will be disappointed because he kind of embraced himself in Bills Mafia, right? And he's enjoying every minute of it, and I hope he does. And, I wish him nothing but the best, even on this team. If he makes this team, obviously we wish him nothing but the best. But I just find it's going to be very, very hard for him to make this 53-man roster. Then you look at a guy on the offensive line like Jeremiah Searles, right? I have Jeremiah Searles actually making this team. Can definitely see him as a bubble candidate. And maybe this is the guy LeAdrian Waddle's competing with even to make this team. I like what Jeremy Searles did for us last season, and that's why I put him in here. Some people didn't like the fact that I had Wyatt Teller. Vladimir Dukas on my list. I understand that Vladimir Dukas didn't always show off a lot of talent last year. He was good for a 6-10 team. Would be good for a 10-6 team. That's something that is yet to be seen. The guys that I had getting dropped again: Garrett McGee, Connor McDermott, who some people like. Quinton Spain is someone who I think is also on that roster bubble. A lot of people like him, and I like him too. I'm beginning to think that he will make the 53-man roster, even though I did not have him on initially. I really like what he's done, but we'll see what happens. I think that's someone else's name that you can put on that roster bubble. Don't think he's firmly in there yet, even though we did pick him up in free agency. I think there's a couple free agents that we picked up this season that are not going to make this team. You look at the wide receiver position, and I know everyone's been giving me a hard time about this, so his name's going to come up again. Duke Williams is someone that Bills Wire listed on the bubble, and I put him right there as well. Right now, I have him on the outside looking in, but it's very possible that he can make this team. Again, I've gone into depth about why I'm not sure if he's going to make this team or not. You can go back to my Duke Williams video that I did. You can go back to my wide receiver roster breakdown edition that I did, and it will go over why I'm not sure Duke Williams will make this team. Again, he did win the CFL, and I appreciate that, and anyone can appreciate that, but all signs show that he's just not going to do well in the NFL. I hope I'm wrong, because again, if I'm wrong, that's only good for the Buffalo Bills. So I hope that I'm wrong. I hope he makes the team, and I hope he proves me wrong and is impressive all year long. But we'll see what happens. But Duke Williams is definitely someone on the bubble. Another guy that Bills Wire had on the bubble that I just don't agree with would be quarterback from Buffalo, Tyree Jackson, guy that we picked up as an undrafted free agent this past season. I just don't see him having a shot to make this team. Again, you look at the Bills last season, only keeping 2 quarterbacks most of the year. You know who our starter is going to be in Josh Allen, and you know you have a great backup in Sam Barkley. So I just don't know why we would think Tyree Jackson will make this team. I think the only possibility Tyree Jackson has of making this team is if he does phenomenally well in training camp and preseason, and Barkley just doesn't do well at all. But then I still only see us keeping 2 quarterbacks, and that would be Josh Allen and Tyree Jackson. But that would just look really bad, because then again, you're talking about a team that would have no veteran leadership at that quarterback position. Did Derek Anderson teach Josh Allen enough so that he could take over the torch already and just say, hey, I'm a veteran guy? I don't think so. I think you want that veteran presence just in case something does happen to Josh Allen. You want a guy who's been there before, who can play some games, maybe win you a game or 2 like Matt Barkley did with us against the Jets last season. Another guy they have on the list who I agree with, but again, I'm outside looking in, is Eddie Yarborough, defensive end. The defensive end position is definitely one of those positions where I could easily see us looking somewhere else once other roster cuts have happened. See us looking somewhere else and picking someone up at the defensive end position. Just not sure if I like the backups here with Love and Yarborough. Again, we do have that the guy we drafted as well. We brought in Eli Harold, so that could be an addition as well. Eli Harold will make this team probably, and that would leave Eddie Yarborough looking out. But again, I can see us going somewhere else for that defensive end position, just because, again, I don't like the depth that we have at defensive end. I like 3 of them. I like, Trent Murphy. I like Jerry Hughes. I like Shaq Lawson. Behind that, do you like Eli Harold? Let me know in the comment section. Do you like Eli Harold? Do you like Eddie Yarborough? Do you like Mike Love? Those are the guys that we have at defensive end right now. Again, I don't see Eddie Yarborough or Mike Love making this team. Definitely could see Eli Harold making this team. Could also see us looking somewhere else once those cuts happen to see who makes the defensive end in 2019. Going down the list of other names, this is a name that I had on my roster bubble and I had him out as well. It's Patrick DeMarco, fullback for the Buffalo Bills. Last season, barely played in 50% of offensive snaps. You look at that running back room right now, including Patrick DeMarco, you're talking about McCoy, TJ Yeldon, who's another name you could talk about, who, again, if you're talking about the bubble, maybe you look at Yeldon and DeMarco and say, okay, it's a fight between those 2 guys. You guys go out in training camp. You guys go out in preseason. Show me who wants it more. And that might be what it comes down to, because I think they're both squarely on the bubble. Currently, I have TJ Yeldon in, Patrick DeMarco out, but you can easily switch those 2, and then you have TJ Yeldon on the outside looking in. But I personally think TJ Yeldon, with his ability to catch balls out of the backfield, is just a better asset at this time. I liked what Patrick DeMarco has done for us over the past few seasons. I think he's a great fullback. The issue with the fullback is kind of not as important in the league as they were 10, 15 years ago, right? So that's why I'm not sure I see Patrick DeMarco making this team. And like we did talk about TJ Yeldon as well. Another guy we have here is Rafael Bush at that safety position. That's someone that you can question if he's going to make the team or not. We know that we have our starting safeties. I have Rafael Bush making this team just because of his experience from a few years ago. I think that, and his experience overall in the NFL, I think that gives him a good shot to make this team. I have Siran Neal, who makes this team. He's obviously going to be in competition with Rafael Bush. Jaquan Johnson and Dean Marlowe are the two guys I have on the outside looking in. Now, some people really like Jaquan Johnson, so maybe that will be the battle for that last spot. See if Jaquan Johnson can sneak in there. But right now, I have him on the outside, and some people have him over Siran Neal. I think in minicamp, I think that Siran Neal proved that he could be valuable to this team. I think he did a great job in minicamp. The Bills wire article even said that he turned some heads in minicamp. So we'll see what happens. But maybe Jaquan Johnson gets in. Rafael Bush does not get to see the field for the Buffalo Bills as part of the 53-man roster. And then the last one I want to talk about that they had on there was tight end Jason Kroom. This one kind of shocked me a little bit, just because Jason Kroom is the only guy currently on our roster who played for the Bills last season. I wonder who they have in instead of Jason Kroom. If Jason Kroom's not in, obviously Tyler Crofts can get in depending on the injury issue, of course. And then you have the two rookies we signed in the draft. You have Lee Smith in there as well. So we have a decent depth there, but there's no one that wows you. There's no name out there that's going to say, okay, he deserves it over Jason Kroom. So I really don't think that Jason Kroom is on the bubble. If you're asking me who's on the bubble at the tight end position, because I think it is a position where you can definitely have some guys step up, I would look at Tommy Sweeney on that bubble position, the 7th round draft pick. Who's going to get in there? Is it going to be Tommy Sweeney? Lee Smith. Lee Smith played well. One of my commenters said he was a pancake machine on Madden, and, he's a great blocking tight end. And we see that more and more, that the Buffalo Bills are going blocking tight ends, right? We know that Dable's system isn't exactly huge with tight ends, but if we get a lot of blocking tight ends, more protection for Josh Allen, we do have the wide receivers that can get open if they're given time. But, I look at a guy like Tommy Sweeney. Maybe he's fighting with Lee Smith to get in there. But I think Jason Kroom's spot is pretty secure right now. I think he'd have to really screw up in training camp and preseason to not solidify a spot. And you guys know, if you followed me last year, I was not impressed with Jason Kroom's tight end game at all. But I'm just saying he's the only guy currently in this room who was on the Bills last year who knows the system, who knows Brian Dable's system, and can probably work well and train these young guys a little bit on what Dable's looking for at the tight end position. So those are a few guys that I see that are on the bubble. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Again, training camp's less than 2 weeks away, guys, so we're trying to reduce this squad down from 90 guys to 53. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if more of these guys did make the team than the minimum. I think we'll have 51 guys on the active roster come August 31st, and then we'll fill it up with 1 or 2 guys come September 1st. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Again, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and again, once you do that, go to www.bewarethestampede.com to get entries for this Andre Reed signed mini helmet. You want to get in the contest, guys. We're running now till August 6th, which is the last day of training camp. So make sure if you tweet, you can tweet it every day and then go back to bewarethestampede.com, log each entry, and you'll be entered to win this mini helmet. So again, thank you for following along. Thank you for your subscription. Thank you for support. And if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Season's coming up, guys. Again, August will be the start of preseason, so we're looking forward to that. I'll talk to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.